Have you ever pondered about the seeds of nationalism in Europe? How did they sprout and grow into the towering political ideologies that have shaped the world as we know it? The French Revolution, a watershed event in the late 18th century, played a monumental role in the rise of nationalism. The French Revolution was not just about overthrowing an oppressive regime. It was a radical rethinking of the very idea of a nation and citizenship. It was during this tumultuous period that the citizens of France came to identify themselves as a single entity, a nation. The revolutionaries set about building a nation based on the principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity. The French Revolution instilled in the people a sense of national unity and ignited the spark of nationalism. As we move forward into the 19th century, we witness the making of nationalism in Europe. This was a period where the sentiment of nationalism began to permeate every facet of society. The common people, the bourgeoisie, the artists, the philosophers, all began to identify with their nation. This sense of belonging and unity was not just limited to the political sphere, but also influenced culture, language, history, and even geography. The concept of a nation was no longer confined to political boundaries, but transcended to form an emotional bond between the people. Next, we enter the Age of Revolutions between 1830 and 1848, a time of widespread political upheaval throughout Europe. The winds of change were blowing, and they were blowing towards more nationalistic states. These revolutions were driven by the desire for nationhood. People wanted to be a part of a nation, to have their own government, their own identity. This was a time when the idea of nationalism was truly put to the test. Following this, we delve into the making of Germany and Italy. These two nations were carved out of a mosaic of disparate states. The unification of Italy in 1861 and that of Germany in 1871 were momentous events that signaled the triumph of nationalism. The architects of their unification, Count Camillo di Cavour in Italy and Otto von Bismarck in Germany, used the sentiment of nationalism to unite the various states into a single nation. This was the culmination of the nationalistic fervor that had been building up over the years. To summarize, the rise of nationalism in Europe was a complex process that spanned over a century. It began with the French Revolution, which introduced the idea of a nation and citizenship. It then spread throughout Europe, influencing culture, language, history, and geography. The Age of Revolutions further cemented the idea of nationalism, leading to the formation of new nations. The unification of Germany and Italy marked the triumph of nationalism. This journey through the rise of nationalism in Europe provides us with an understanding of how the concept of a nation has evolved and how it continues to shape the world we live in. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the fascinating world of history.